It's the most wonderful time of Monday. We're just putting the records away. How are you? How you been? Welcome to JiveSide's Jukebox, where sharing means caring, and without music life would be a mistake. So I am going to share with you all the records that stick to me like glue before I put them back on the shelf. I listened to 30-some records in the last 2 weeks, so I'm going to cut this up. This is part one. I'm going to shuffle them up and just, bam, see what we got. Thanks for being here. Stay put. There's some amazing stuff ahead of us.
Just going to grab out the first pile. This is going to be episode 1, shuffle them up. So let's see what we listened to since we last discussed music. First up we have,
Bam! Grateful Dead, Anthem of the Sun. This is amazing. Amazing record. Amazing band. Alligator! But this has the other one on it. This is just, I don't know what to say about the Grateful Dead, except they're one of the greatest bands of all time. Next we have some John Mayall and the Blues Breakers with The Turning Point. This is a live album. It's really good. You know, there's a reason why John Mayall's not a household name. He's like a musician's musician. So if you like your blues played with exact precision and without any danger and with a nice sit-down feel, this is the record for you. But John Mayall's, he's incredible. I don't want to take away anything from the musicians on this. It is a lecture on a perfect performance. But like I said, there's no danger in this. There's danger in this though. Ghostface Killer, the Big Doe Rehab. I can't recommend Ghostface as a solo artist enough. Every single album of his is amazing. It's really wild in all the times we've gone through to hear somebody speak the way he does with just no apologies. And that way you can take it in whatever way you want to. If you want to be offended by it, you'll be offended by it. If you want to laugh at it because it's funny, man, you're going to laugh because it's funny. And if you want to just relate to what he's saying because you feel the same way, man, absolutely. But Big Doe Rehab, Ghostface Killer. Can't recommend Ghostface enough. Every single record is incredible. Prolonging the Magic by Cake. Let me go, she said, let me go. This is a record I'm sure a lot of people have known at some point. It's a really good one. This might be their best one. I just think they hit on all the things they do, because John McCrae only does so many things, but he does them very well. And this one, every song is just a real crowd pleaser. Prolonging the Magic. Speaking of crowd pleasers, Exile on Main Street by the Rolling Stones. Many people consider this one of the best albums of all time. I don't even think it's the best Rolling Stones record, but it is definitely great. MVP on this album, though, is that piano player. Who's playing piano on this record? Mr. Hopkins. Nick, Nate, Nathaniel, I'm assuming it's Nicholas. But Mr. Hopkins on piano on this, he is what makes this record so awesome. But also the production on it, just the freewheelingness, it really feels like everything's happening in the moment and you're just there to witness it. Exile on Main Street, totally great record. One of the best ever? Not on my list, but that doesn't mean it's not an amazing record. It's just not the best Rolling Stones record. Whammy! This is great. The early B-52s stuff is really amazing. It sounds incredible, the imagination's awesome, the songwriting is great. It's totally unique. You gotta let it sit in a little bit, but this is really good. Whammy by the B-52s. Boom! Talking about a buried gem, which I definitely consider the B-52's whammy, Captain Beyond, the self-titled. This record is incredible. They only did like one or two. I don't know much about Captain Beyond. I think he's the original singer from Deep Purple, pre-Ian Gillan, but and some people from Iron Butterfly. I believe that's what Captain Beyond is. It changed a lot. They only did like 3 records. Sufficiently Breathless is the one that follows this. It's nice, but this is awesome. Dancing madly backwards, dancing on the ceiling. It just goes from track to track to track with callbacks, incredible playing. The production's amazing on this. It is a concept record. It is a diamond in the rough. It is a classic. Can't recommend Captain Beyond enough. This record's amazing. Another amazing record. Are you aliens? Out of this world. Outkast, AT Aliens. I don't know what else to say about this record except it's just out of this world. Are you aliens? That's all I can really say. Amazing record. Production is incredible. This is Outkast, of course, cementing themselves into a legacy that they hold to this day. When I first got this record, I didn't realize I had an edited version. And if you'll see, when I rebought it, I knew right away I had an edited version because the unedited, she's naked. In the edited, which I don't have anymore, she's clothed. But I remember a couple tracks in, I was like, why does it feel like it's missing something? And it was missing that right there. AT Aliens, because I'm cooler than a polar bear's toenail. Oh hell, there you go again, talking that shit. Break. Daddy Sax B-O-B-I-G-B-O-I, be that same motherfucker that dragged the knuckle to your eye. More ZZ Top. Love ZZ Top. This is a talk about some buried treasures. This is a buried treasure in their catalog. El Loco. No real hits off this one, though they did have a video from this one, and like Pearl Necklace has made it onto like the greatest hits. But this is just awesome. An awesome band, just playing awesome songs. None of these are the hits that you'll find scattered across the other records, but that doesn't mean they don't hit. ZZ Top, El Loco, totally great. Totally great. Bam! Master of Reality, Black Sabbath. One of the best records ever. I listened to this one twice in a row. It is just hit after hit after hit. Sounds so incredible. It's totally unique. Master of Reality. Took me a while to, I've sat with this record for probably 30 years now. Not 30 years, I'm only 39. Probably 26 years. Got this when I was very young and didn't know what to think of it. Liked it, but it's still a little scary. But this is incredible. Boom! Screaming for Vengeance. It's Judas Priest. This is a more recent addition to the collection within the last several years. This is awesome. There's only one little moment where the song about is "Take this heart of mine." But that's a little too poppy. But this is awesome. Incredible performances from everybody. Rob Halford sings his ass off. Screaming for Vengeance. The most recent addition to the collection, bam! Khruangbin, Con Todo El Mundo, the latest record from the trio out of Houston. I'm wearing a shirt of theirs right now from the last record, The Universe Smiles Upon You. Khruangbin, this is 70s inspired, Thai processed, you got Thailand, born out of Houston, Texas, funk. It's just phenomenal. DJ, Laura Lee, Mark are freaking on top of something that's not happening right now. Saw them at 9:30 Club. Thank you very much. It was an amazing show, amazing band. I mentioned to Mark that I think he has the biggest balls in Texas because the style of music they're doing, the amount of weight that's on him as a guitar player and kind of band leader, but just like the roles that everybody has to play. I don't know how to express it. You need to check out Khruangbin. Incredible band, on the rise. Incredible album, Con Todo El Mundo. Their other record is fantastic as well, but this one is really stepping into their future. I can't wait to see what they bring next. Much love and respect, Khruangbin. See you on the road. Bam! Body Count. Born Dead. Again. I just really love this record, and I just recorded a cover of Street Lobotomy, which you can find on the channel. But Born Dead. Just love this record. Listen to it. It's really good. Speaking of really good, Sex Mob. Din of Equity. This is, Din of Inequity. My apologies. This is a record that my old friend Craig Wyman got me turned on to. It's a jazz group out of New York, I believe. Older gentleman. And John Medeski is on a couple tracks on this and some other records. But it's Steven Bernstein plays the slide trumpet. Brigham Krause plays an alto sax like you've never thought it should sound. Although Captain Beefheart, you know, if he were alive today, would be a huge, huge fan. Probably jealous too. Tony Kerr is like one of the most incredible bass players ever. And then Kenny Williamson just delivering such a sweet pocket in textures and tones on the drums. And this is a really awesome record. I think it's their second record. And this is one of the records that made me finally check out some Prince. Why do you ask? Why? Because the second song on there is a cover of Sign of the Times. Now, this, on top of the Joshua Redman, How Come You Don't Call Me, on top of the D'Angelo, She's Always in My Hair, and then hearing Sign of the Times, done, it's crazy. You have to hear this. If you're a Prince fan, you have to hear Sex Mob, Sign of the Times. If you are neither fan of Sex Mob nor Prince, well, listen to Sign of the Times by Sex Mob, covering Prince, and you'll become a fan of both. But they are awesome. They only did so many records, but it's out of this world jazz. If you're a young avant-gardist jazzer in college, preferably, this is the band for you. Sex Mob. We got just a couple more in this pile. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Waylon Jennings, Ramblin' Man. One of my all-time favorites. Waylon Jennings is just, what a unique sound. And, you know, out of Texas. So much great music out of Texas. I'm a rambling man. Fall in love with you, rambling man. I can't recommend this enough. Ramblin' Man, Waylon Jennings. This is him at the height of his stuff. It's really, really good stuff. All right, what do we got to round up this episode 1 of Sharing Means Caring JiveSide's Jukebox? We have, boom, Chuck Brown, Ha Man. Chuck, God rest his soul, the godfather of go-go. I am in Washington, D.C. Here is a portrait of Chuck on the wall. Here is an autographed ticket to me from Chuck. Much love. Somehow this survived a washing machine incident. The ticket stub is, all the ink is gone, but the autograph is still there. Rest in peace, Chuck. Such an amazing career of music and impact on this city, and to go to those shows before he was too old, even then it was still a blast. But it was just an experience. For me, the experience was were the 90s and early 2000s, up until like 2006, 2007. I was going to Chuck shows on the regular, and on the regular, you know, as much as I could. Brought my friend Craig, who introduced me to Sex Mob. He came down from Boston many years ago to see Chuck. He'd never heard go-go before, and I'll never forget his comment when the concert was over. He's like, gosh, you know, at first I was like, gosh, this beat is like a little too much. But now that it's gone, I really miss it. This is great. This is nothing but like the classic Chuck, Louis Jordan covers, and like My Funny Valentine, that perfect blend of jazz and go-go with the ooh, yummy, yummy, good, good honey. Look as sweet, good, honey. Lay you with the Chucky. Chuck Brown. Can't recommend it enough. Here is another recent addition. Prince. Piano and a Microphone, 1983. This is the first posthumous release by Prince. And This is a really amazing, well, anytime you get to listen to musicians like Prince, especially Prince, in my opinion, anytime you get to hear them play, it's awesome. It's fascinating. So, my expectations, I knew I shouldn't have any going into the record because that's my story with Prince records always. Whatever expectations you had going in are out the window the minute it starts. So I'll just say a few things about this. First of all, it's incredible. It's him just showing what an incredible musician he is. He's just playing piano and singing. But here's the thing. I don't think Prince would have released this because all it is a rehearsal. It's a personal jam session. It's just the tape is running. It's one continuous tape, which is amazing. But it's just him kind of going through ideas, just free flowing. You hear, stuff that became songs later where he's just kind of messing around. Cold Coffee and Cocaine is a total, it's just a complete improv. He, does a spiritual, which is really great. Now, here's the thing. This packaging is as cheap as it possibly can get. The booklet is as really? That's all we get? First posthumous release? That's it? That's it? I had to return my copy that I bought at Walmart, yes, because that's where I could find it. Because when I went to open it, the back was completely smashed in. And this is just the flimsiest cardboard. And I've noticed that new releases of old stuff, like if you look at old Led Zeppelin records, for example, they're in these same terrible packaging. I mean, I've owned this for 2 weeks, and it's already completely fraying. It's so delicate, just even touching this. And I just think it's how are you going to charge still the amount you charge and make this thing so cheap at a time when people don't value music for money at all? So I just don't think they're doing any favors. The people who put this out, apparently this was on a cassette, and it sounds like it. It sounds like all they did was transfer the cassette. They didn't touch up anything. So it's literally a bootleg. This is literally just a practice bootleg. Missed opportunity, I think, but they know that they know. Anything by Prince that's going to be new is going to be welcomed. But, come on. Show a little more love and respect to this. And when they re-release Planet Earth and 3121 and all that, I'm curious if they're going to dumb down the packaging because those three had, musicology, those three were all pretty involved in the packaging. Moving on, little Patricia Barber. This is the only thing of hers I have in my collection, and it's a live record. As you can tell, it's called Patricia Barber Live, A Fortnight in France. She's a pianist and singer-songwriter out of Chicago, I believe. But I picked this up because I heard there's a version of Norwegian Wood on here, the Beatles song. And years ago, I heard it on the radio late one night on local radio, and it blew me away. And it is amazing. It's hands down the best thing on this record. Unfortunately, I think it's the best thing on the record. Again, like I said about the Dave Holland record in the last episode, this is one where the first song kind of gives you everything the record's gonna do for the rest of the record. But like the John Mayall, if you want to hear perfectly executed performance art masked as pop music, that in that case blues, in this case it's more jazz, then this is the stuff for you. It's just world-class musicians doing what they do with precision and finesse. But the Norwegian Wood cover on this is unbelievable. Highly recommended. Worth the purchase alone. So I was speaking of Joshua Redman earlier, and bam! Here is some Joshua Redman. A little bit of Elastic. This is one of his best records, if not his best. With Sam Yahel and Brian Blade, I was able to see this band perform, and they performed these tunes, and it was just so awesome. He hasn't recreated this magic since, and it's a real shame. Again, if you are a jazz head, if you are an avant-gardist, if you are especially a college age, this is a record for you. Joshua Redman, Elastic. Joshua Redman. He was for many years one of my favorites. I'm still nostalgic for those feelings, and the records of his that I still love, I freaking love. But yeah, I started listening to Kiss. That may have dumbed me down a little bit, but like an explosion bomb, Count Basie, the Atomic Band. This is a collection. I believe it's a collection and not a regular album. Yeah, the complete Atomic Basie. So this is a collection of Basie during the late 50s, and this is incredible. Like I said in episode 1, not all things that frickin' rock and roll are rock and roll. This rocks and this rolls, and this is heavy metal. Count Basie, the Atomic Band. The dynamics are unbelievable. From the loudest loud to the softest softest. It's got some classics on this, like Little Darling, Whirly Bird, Flight of the Foo Birds, Kid from Red Bank. Can't recommend this enough. And then finally, a record I listened to about 4 times in a row. Little Lightnin' Hopkins, One More Out of Texas. This is so interesting because it is just man and guitar. And it sounds like it's from another world at this point. And it still sounds so fresh. It literally is lightning in a bottle. Lightning in a bottle. Dig it? Dig it. Well, thanks for sticking through that. This is the first conversation I've had today with another person, me, myself, and I, and of course you, the viewer. I appreciate you getting me warmed up for socialization for the day. Stick around for episode 2, part 2 of 1, and then we'll follow that with part 3 and be done. Till the next one. And until that time, save your mind, choose your rhyme, set the time, and unwind. Catch you next time. Peace.
You know it one kind favor I'll ask to you. You know it one kind favor I'll ask to you. One kind favor I'll ask to you. See that my grave is kept clean. You know it's 2 white horses in a line. 2 white horses in a line. 2 white horses in a line. Gonna take me to my burying ground.